Good morning to your lovely viewers. Welcome to the weekly gospel with me, your host, amazing Katamanda. And today I'm joined by two beautiful ladies, Wanji the great, the entrepreneur, as well as Astriana the humanitarian. I'm so excited having you ladies. Beautiful good morning to you.
Good morning, amazing.
Thank you.
I'm loving the smiles. Okay, so today we're having a very interesting topic. Happy festive season, by the way.
Same to you.
Thank you so much, and happy festive season to the viewers. So today we're talking about the importance of reconciliation during this festive season. Ladies, what an interesting topic.
Very interesting.
I don't really know. I was about to say ladies first, but we're all ladies. But we're all ladies.
Yeah.
So who's going to go first? Before we even dive into the topic of discussion, we'd just like to know a brief background about you ladies. So, Matilda, I'll start with you. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Matilda.
Mm-hmm.
You called me Wanji earlier.
Wanji, sorry.
My name
you
is
know,
Matilda.
I'm used to Matilda, so
Yeah.
let's stick to Wanji because it's a brand we know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My name is Wanji, like she said. Thank you so much for having us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a TV personality, I am a speaker, motivational speaker, literally everything.
You'll have your hands.
And I must say the topic is very interesting. So before we dive into it, I think I'll push it back to amazing.
Yeah, let's get to know you a little more about you, Astriana.
Thank you so much, amazing. My name is Astriana Chikwawe. I am a media personality, humanitarian.
An award-winning, by the way,
Oh, yeah.
humanitarian.
Award-winning humanitarian.
Yeah. International.
Both international and local.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me here. And the topic is very interesting.
You're welcome. So let's just now dive into the topic of discussion. Like for you personally, Astriana, like why is it so important to have reconciliation or reconciling with family members, or just having to gather with the old family member that we don't usually see or we don't see every day, but just during this festive season?
Well, it's very important because this is a time where we get to spend time together, get to bond. Gone are the days where we used to gather with different families, great families, gather together, have nice food. If there are those people that fought, then they come together, just have that time or moment to forgive each other and bond with each other. So it's very important during the festive season to make sure that you reconcile with one another as you enter the new year. Yes.
Okay. Let's get to you, Wanji. Let's hear your mind.
Okay, I think the topic is interesting. I think one of the reasons why it is okay for families to reconcile during the festive season is the fact that we all know that festive season is like a commemoration of Jesus Christ, especially Christmas. We say we like celebrate the life of Christ, and it requires one to have love in order for you to celebrate the life of Christ. So how are you showing love to Christ when you can't show love to your family, when you are not in good terms with your family? So it's important to have a very healthy family structure, and healthiness comes in when you are able to communicate your feelings with your family members, when you are able to put your differences aside and just say, okay, at the end of the day, we're family, and in order for us to celebrate Christ, we need to celebrate each other. I think, that's one of the importance.
I love the fact that you are bringing Christ at the center of everything. We are ambassadors of Christ Jesus. But there are just those family members who are just no, ladies. Let's just review. Let's just talk about it. I don't know. I'm sorry, family members. I'm really sorry. But there are just those stubborn ones. Like every year we keep gathering, we ask for forgiveness from each other, but there's like literally no change from anybody. We don't communicate, and because our grandparents, they would say, you know what, we want if I'll give an example of my grandmother. My mom's children, they're a lot. So she would actually give everyone responsibilities to say, I want you to buy a pack of rice, I want you to buy potatoes, so that we come together with your children, then we come and celebrate together. But now that they're no longer in the picture, it's quite difficult to just see everyone. You find maybe an older person in the family will say, but they won't oblige because they just feel like, I have responsibilities, I've got church to go to, I've got what. So in such an instant, like, what can we do to just bring everybody together? Because the parents are no longer in the picture, like the grandparents who bring families together. It's not everybody, mind you, because I know there are other families who still have those older grannies who bring family together. But in a case where one doesn't have, or they don't have grandparents, how do they bring their families together?
You know what's amazing? I think at the end of the day, it's about how connected you are. Because I'll give an example. When we watch movies during the festive season, you find that people travel. If someone is in another country or wherever they are,
different town,
yes, they come home, then they celebrate together. And also, Wanji mentioned to say you need to have Christ in you. You cannot love Christ if you do not love your family members. So the question is, do I really love my family members? Do they really love me? And there are those family members, those who are stubborn. They're just them. They're just them.
They're just in their own world. They're just in their own world.
Yes, they're just them. They'll be like, I don't care. It's better if I have a child and I have a husband, we are family like that. I don't care about you, I don't care about you. It's just me. But at the end of the day, we need to know that the extended family still exists. And we need to put importance to it, so that even as much as the festive season comes, we're able to gather together. Just like you said, to say, someone brings potatoes, rice, whatever they bring, chicken.
Because I know we can't mention Christmas
without
chicken.
Yes, so we need to put importance to that. We need to go back to where we're coming from, how it used to be with our grandparents, how it used to be with how we used to bond with them. So I believe we can do that. We can do better even now.
Wanji, the same question goes to you.
I think Astrida's points are very valid, and she's right. There are people who act like they get direct orders from Satan. That's like when they wake up in the morning, Satan just commands them on what to do. But family is family at the end of the day. And then, sometimes having healthy, I'm so much on the healthy aspect. Having
I was actually getting there.
And honest conversations amongst ourselves. Because it's so heartbreaking to see that in a family on Christmas Day, it's one family, right? They are hungry. Others are celebrating, others are not, and it's affecting children because, oh no, we're not in good terms, oh no, and everything like that. I think it's high time we learn to have uncomfortable conversations. I believe as an adult, there are certain points when you just need to learn to be comfortable enough to have uncomfortable conversations with people. And there's growth that comes out of having uncomfortable conversations. Conversations that they say, because they react in this way. These are conversations we must be having to say we are growing. These kids, your granddaughters, these younger ones are growing up, and what picture are we showing them? I'm one person that is not really outspoken. I am talkative, but I'm not outspoken when it comes to certain sensitive issues. I'm not so much, but I just decided now that it's very important sometimes to tell people not what they need to know, but what you feel should be done. So family meeting. Let's have those uncomfortable conversations. At the end of the day, they bring about the best results.
Very true.
Okay, so to the viewers, if you're just joining us, you're welcome. This is the Weekly Gospel with me, your host, Amazing Katawanda, and I'm joined by two beautiful ladies, Wanji and Asriana. We are talking about the importance of reconciliation during this festive period of season. Do come with your comments or contributions. The phone lines are open. You can call us. We are live right now. Or if you cannot call us, you can just go on our Facebook page and then leave your comments there. We want to hear your views and your thoughts pertaining our topic of discussion today. Having healthy, having uncomfortable conversations. Some conversations, sometimes people are not like ready to hear the truth. And we've got this thing of saying my mental health matters, I need to prioritize my mental health, and sometimes we use it in a bad way.
That's true.
Such that we avoid having necessary conversations, because sometimes having honest conversations can be very, very uncomfortable.
Yes.
So in a case where, in as much as you are not comfortable talking about the truth, what is it that you can tell us? I think I'll start with Wanji this time, because she's the one that brought about this whole issue. Why is it so important for me to be open-minded, to have unhealthy conversations, in as much as I'm trying to protect my peace, in as much as I'm trying to protect my mental health?
Thank you. I think protecting your peace comes about you having those those uncomfortable conversations. Because when you have them, that's when you gain your true peace. At the end of the day, sometimes you just lie about mental health. Some people lie about mental health.
It has become a defense mechanism, right?
Yeah, your mental health won't push you to hurt others. Yes, sometimes the people have got really, really bad mental health issues, but for people like, no, I've got anxiety, I've got depression, it's not like a pass for you to talk anyhow, speak anyhow. There's a verse in the Bible, I do not know which one exactly, but it says something like, when you have like an argument with your brother, right? You have to call somebody, they come in and you talk about it. If you do not agree, you go to maybe a pastor or something. So that's where I'm going. I think sometimes people are difficult to talk to. You know, there's this mentality when somebody talks to you, approaches you about something, you now feel like they're studying it, you know, you can. So I feel if we're not going to, I approach you over something that happens. And if I think we are not going anywhere with it, let's involve somebody older, somebody wiser, somebody we can trust. And if they fail, we can always go to a pastor just for that peace. We need to go length to attain that peace. If you really want to have genuine and true peace, it has to come with you reconciling with people around you. And sometimes the honest truth is reconciliation does not mean association again. I can reconcile with you, but I cannot want to associate myself with you. So I don't know, families have got bigger issues beyond us. So if you think like, okay, I think I don't want to eat rice and chicken this one, at least get that peace by just reconciling. And
Now, what about you, Asriana?
She has said it, but just to add on a few things, you know, there are also certain people. I can be a Christian, but doesn't mean that my entire family.
They're Christian.
Yeah, that's true.
No. So you might want to talk to them about Christ, but they feel like, no, just like what Matilda said in our study, and you can't talk to them because they feel like they know it all, and everybody equal. And so, you know, the Bible tells us to say, you cannot say you love God but hate your neighbor. So you as a Christian, in as much as you go to reconcile, look at also the state of that person. She talked about mental health. Mental health is very important. So you look at the state of that person. Some people, you can talk to them to say, okay, this is what I am thinking, but they won't relate. Even if they know it's true, they won't relate with you. But you know, families are families, and in families there are issues. Issues will never end. That's a fact. Issues will never end. Today we are going to reconcile. Tomorrow we're going to hear another thing. We reconcile again because issues are always there. But the thing that we need to put in mind is we should have less expectations. When we have less expectations from our family members, even the hate will be less. Because you do not expect anything from them. You come together, but don't expect to say, no, Matilda, because Matilda is my cousin, so hey, my cousin. I know she's human, and I have to consider that she's a human being, and I have to consider to say Matilda doesn't owe me anything, in as much as I can argue with her. She can do whatever she wants, but I have lowered my expectations towards her. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing, it's not just about other people. There are also times when we are also toxic. Like,
That's true.
Yes.
we shouldn't just
that's
to
true.
point fingers at other family members. So how do I get to a place of self-introspection, where I just start checking in with myself to say, you know what, I also have toxic behaviors. I also need to change in some way. Have you ever been in a place where you had a self-honest conversation with yourself to just check with the kind of human being you are, with like just how you respond to things, how you do things? Have you ever had that situation where you just sat down and you had to be honest with yourself?
I had that, and trust me, it's one of the most difficult things
Very much.
a person can do.
Yeah.
One thing that I respect are people that assess themselves. And one of the most difficult things in life is to be honest with yourself. It's very easy to place a blame on the other person than to have honest conversation with yourself. I remember we had a conversation with my friend Deborah one time. We were having a conversation, I'm like, but to be honest, we're also toxic. You know, when your friend gets promoted, you feel like, but see, in an asadila. And then she said something like, ufunika chawaenda kunyumba wankana wabakamba shati but nalenda jealous. I know it's very difficult, but it is so important. So I had an argument with one of my sisters. She knows herself. I think that was like a year ago. And then I said, no, I am not going to talk to you because you've just disrespected me. And we stopped talking. We stayed for months. And then I think New Year's to 2020, 2022, 2023, she called me. Hello, sister. And then we chatted, Shashan. And then I'm like, oh, even if you've called me, I still remember. And then now, I think that was a week ago, she came through at my house, and then she was dressing up, she was going for an event and everything like that. And then, during those months that we're not speaking, I took some time and I had to self-assess. And I said, but for real, I think I have to acknowledge the role that I play in this thing to escalate. So sometimes it's very important for us to acknowledge the role that we played for everything to turn out the way it has turned out. So we sat down and then I'm like, you know what happened that time? I think I shouldn't have said that. I think one of the reasons why the issue escalated to this is because I said this and it triggered you to say that, and then we argued. And it's so easy when we argue for me to put a blame on you because I want to protect myself. But I just came out clean and said, I think if I didn't say that, it wouldn't have escalated to this. And I was like, I didn't expect you to actually I didn't expect you to actually say it, but yes, I said it. And I think it's more peaceful. We're not always right.
Yeah.
Very true.
Adriana, have you ever been in a situation where you had to sit yourself down and just give yourself that counsel, or have that difficult conversation where you just had to accept, like, okay, I do also have some toxic traits about me?
Yes, I have. It's not easy, trust me. It's not easy because we are all good people. I'm telling you, we are all good people. When it comes to talking about others, I'm a good person. You're a good person. You don't see the wrongs that you're doing. You are all good people. And so there was a time I had an argument with one of my closest family members. I didn't like how they were the problem. I wasn't the problem. I wasn't the problem. They were the problem. So I didn't do anything, but there's always that aspect of Astriana Mankalabize, why am Mankalabize? So I got offended to say, okay, should I be staying at home doing nothing? I have to go out there and work. So they started talking about different things. And so I decided to say, I'll never, and me when I say I'll never,
you don't go back on your words.
I don't. I say I'll never step there, no matter what. I'll never do that. Guys, we need to talk about these things.
Yes, I mean, these are real things that everybody's going through.
Exactly. I said that. And I remember I stayed 1 year plus.
Not
going, not even phone calls, not doing anything. just hear, oh, there's this. Not someone, it's not much, it was a close relative of mine, such that even if I was getting married today, that person would stand in for me. So I stayed for a year. And then there's my brother now, the fiancé. Yeah, she came and she gave me a scripture. You know something about scripture, weakness. So she told me to say no. This she gave me a scripture. Yeah, we went to the house of my relative. Then I went there. I was like, I want to eat. And they were surprised because after a year they didn't expect that. And I looked at myself. I was like, I also contributed to that because instead of me reaching at a point where I understand those people, I understand where they're coming from, because you know when a problem becomes normal, it's accepted because it's normal, so it's accepted. So now for me, I needed to reach at a point where I think ahead of those people and ask myself to say, why are they saying this? Where is this coming from? Because for something to start, meaning there is where it is coming from. So I needed to do that, and I taught myself to say, Astriana, you know what, never do that again. But again, it happened. You know, it's life.
You know, family is family. The fact that we are different, we always get on each other's nerves, we always get on each other's, you know, bad side and the like. And I think for me, this year has just been like one of those years where I've had to, like, you know, assess myself. I had to sit down with myself and have these uncomfortable conversations. Like, amazing, you know what, you're not perfect. You're good at pointing out people's wrongs because somebody said this to you, because somebody did that to you, or maybe they did that to your mother or your father. Then you feel you should react. No. You need to understand that people are different. You also have your wrongs. So this year has just been, you know, just me introspecting, me sitting myself down. Like, I'm not perfect. The moment I started accepting that, I think I started seeing good in other people, which brings me to the next point. As children, we like inheriting hate, grudges, because maybe my mom and her brother or her sister, they don't, you know, get together. They don't just, they just can't sit down and have a proper conversation. And I also want to inherit that, because my mom is not in good terms with her brother, then I also won't be in good terms with my cousins. You know, like in that case, what can you tell us as young people? Because I know you're also young people, you've also been there before. This is a discussion that we're having. Mind you, are not professionals. So you can also come through. You can also come through your comments and contributions. The phone lines are open, or you can go on our Facebook page because we're streaming live right there. So leave your comments there. We'll be more than glad to hear from you. So inheriting grudges. And then parents, if we look at, I don't know about you, but me, I grew up with my parents. I was raised by my grandparents. So I know when something was going on between dad and his siblings, or mom and her siblings, my grandparents would always sit them down and just, you know, call them to order. But do you think we're going to have parents, like our parents, not our grandparents? Do you think they're in a place to do what our grandparents were doing? Are they going to bring families together, or we should just let them, you know, live with their own issues among them as siblings? We shouldn't inherit that. I don't know if my question is clear.
Repeat.
Okay. So I was explaining to say, as children, sometimes we inherit grudges because maybe my mom is not in good terms with this sister of hers or this brother of hers. Then I want to inherit the grudges. Okay? I don't get along with their children because my mom is not in good terms with. If we look at our grandparents, if their children were not in order, our grandparents would call them and sit them down. Like, this is not how we do things. Even if it's forcing them to apologize to each other, they will do that. But looking at our parents now, do you think they would make good parents who would sit us down looking at what's happening now? Because we're talking about reconciliation, yeah? Do you think there would be parents who would sit us down, or even our children down? Or maybe we should just leave them looking at how they are doing things. We as children, like you and your cousins or your sisters from my mother's sisters or mothers, brothers, we should just get along and just leave these siblings rivals to themselves. I don't know, but
yes.
okay, so what should we do? Should we leave our parents to their rival, the rivalry with their siblings, or maybe we should just give them time? They will be those kind of people who will cause ordering.
Talking at a Christian point of view, I mean, yes.
Why not?
Forgiveness is very important. Very, very, very important. Forgiveness is important. Even when we pray the Lord's Prayer, we say, "Forgive us as we forgive those who trespass against us." So now, even the Bible tells us to say, "Forgive your brother 70 times 70." Why did it say 70 times 70? Because people offend us more than what we expect. They are going to offend us. So 70 by 70 is just many times, all the time. Forgive your brother. If we say, okay, let's just leave them, then we're not putting up good morals. We're not putting up good biblical principles. We are Christians, and we should not forget the fact that the Bible tells us to forgive. Our parents in the old days would bring people together to reconcile them, so that they can have those bonds. That's why they used to even come together for a meal. You know, when you come together as a family for a meal, you laugh, you discuss, this and that. It's very important. So even now we can still do that, because right now it's each one for himself
and God for us all.
But we can still do that. I believe we can still do that. If I have an argument with you, amazing, but you can come to say, you know what, ladies, this is not how it should done. You need to forgive. Okay, where was the issue? Also, we need to also know the root of that issue. Where did it come from? Because me, that one, I'll never talk to them. So it's very important. Let's put forgiveness as one of the important thing that we need to practice as Christians. Very important.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Wanja?
I'll go back to Astrida's point, so on point. So looking at the question, again, if I heard you right, you're talking about our parents, if they have the capability to reconcile us and everything. Trust me, I was one angry child. When I see my parents, my mom's sister, my dad's brother acting in a way, and I'm like, but why don't you do this? You know, I was so angry, like, but why do they not do things in this angle? Okay, you guys have had a fallout, you've fought and everything. Why don't you talk and just discuss it? But then I had to realize something. We are in an era where it is so easy to get therapy. It is so easy to connect, to talk to somebody that can help you through your mental health issues, that can help you past your traumas. And then the era that our parents were in is an era where they never had chance to talk about things like PSTD, PD, anything to do with traumatic experiences. So they had to tack it all in. And if amazing, somebody gets you angry, like the way sometimes you run to talk to a counselor, the way you run to talk to somebody who can speak to. Imagine the hate that they carried all these years without having somebody to really rely on. We are so privileged to be able to dial a toll-free number and talk to somebody who can help you. So privileged to blame mental health sometimes. So privileged to talk about bipolar and everything. But when I realized that they lived in an era where they never had those privileges, I had to be less angry. So now, in the nowadays, in this era where we're able to embrace therapy, what can they do? I think right now they're not doing as much as I expect them to do, because in families, even now, you find that cousins are not speaking to each other, but parents are not coming together and say, for the sake of these kids, let's just put the differences aside. They are not doing better now. I think now we are going to take it as a responsibility.
We should take the corner.
We are now going to be like the mothers that are going to take the responsibility of reconciling families. As a girl child, I also do that. I talk to my mother sometimes and say, but I think you should talk to your sister. I think you should do this and this. I think for now, it is our responsibility. But then again, I also want us to understand that as a person, you can only do so much. I think one of my toxic traits that I've just realized that it's toxic, I feel to say I've got things under control, I can do this. But we need to realize that at the end of the day, you're not Christ, you're not the Messiah, you're not the Savior. There's just a certain length you can reach. And then you just leave things to God. So we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves and on our parents. We can only do as much. That's just something we need to realize. By the help of the Holy Spirit, that can be attained, but at the end of the day, you can only do as much.
No, I can also resonate with what you're saying. At least I thank God for my mom. My mom is the kind of person who you would sit down with her and you'd actually tell her, mommy, okay, and she'll be there. She'll give a listening ear. She won't get all defensive. Maybe in the beginning she'll be like, but when you explain to her, she's that kind of person who just like listen and she'll actually do what you have asked. So I thank God for her, and I don't know how many people have got such parents, but me, I thank God for my parents. I thank God for my parents. Like, hey, yo. So in talking to our parents, how do you think we can do it respectfully? You have mentioned about understanding the fact that they grew up in a different era. For them, counseling wasn't available. For them, talking about traumatic experiences wasn't necessary. It meant that you were weak and everything. So with bearing that in mind, how can we just like have a proper conversation with them without disrespecting them or without making them feel disrespected? How can we have that conversation with them? Ask Joanna.
It's not easy as we think it is. So just like you say, to say you talk to your mom, okay, mom, here you didn't do well. There are times where we feel like our parents are perfect. Even if they are wrong, we just feel like, they are perfect. But then for me, one thing I can do, I'm going to support my mom, but see, when we're together, I'll be like, okay. No. I don't call her by because of that relationship that I have with her. I don't call her by her name or the nickname that we gave her. I'll be like, Lady B, Baja. There's no supporter, but you know what, would have done this and would have done that. So you get to talk to her like that in a respectful way. There's always a way where you talk to elder people very respectful. Then I've got my late grandma. She also used to say, if Nicola tell me, she was open. So you tell her to say, okay, grandma here, no, here that. Then I also have my other grandma, the sister to my late grandma. For her, she'll call you, Astriana, tell me if I've done something wrong. Tell me, because I'm also a person. I make mistakes. Did I say something wrong? Then if you notice, okay, she said something wrong, you're going to tell her to say, okay, go, what you did here, no. Okay, what you did, it was good, but maybe next time try to do it this way. You're telling her because you're open with them. But there are also other parents that when you tell them to say no, hey, show some lead. But what we should bear in mind is that our parents are not perfect. We don't necessarily need to disrespect them, pabantu. No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
My pabantu disrespecting my parents. No. We were thinking of because if you do that, baby, so some better win. Then if you know that they are wrong, so some better but kumbadi, you just talk to them to say, okay, I feel like you would have done this instead of doing this. But next time, try to do this and see how it's going to work out. That would make you better to say, oh, my child respects me because that's my opinion. I don't know about what my children thinks.
I think you are right. I think one thing that makes a person feel good is when you validate their feelings.
Yes.
If there's anything that everybody wants to hear, everybody wants to hear that you understand them. There's a song by Maverick City, He Understands. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. And one of the reasons why I draw close, I love the song, is because it makes me feel like or really God really understands. So I think when we're having the conversation with our parents, it's very much important to make them feel and realize to say, okay, I think I understand. It just feels so simple, but it goes a long way. They feel like, okay, I think this person really gets and to understand. And one of the reasons why sometimes they may feel disrespected, they feel, but when you show it, when you comprehend it, and you tell them that, okay, I think I understand all this thing, I understand how you feel about this thing, I understand why you reacted that way, but don't you think we can do this? So first step, just make them feel that you understand them.
You understand them. Very true.
Just to add on what you ladies have said, I have this niece of mine. The other time, there was an event that was happening in the family, and I went to attend. Then this niece of mine, she's very young, mind you, very, very young. Her mother is late. She was my sister, and she was one person who would try and bring family together, because most of us are just like, what, my peace, my mental health is that important to me. It's my priority. If I have to stay away from you, I'll stay away from you. We would always run away from unboxing hateful things, or maybe our traumatic experiences. The only thing we do is just forge ahead. This we don't even try to unpack it. And this little girl, her mother is late. I was surprised that she inherited her mother's spirit of wanting to put people together. So we're having a conversation. She's like, no, I want to visit this person, I also want to visit that other person. Then I look at her, I'm like, how do you manage to do it? She's very young. I was even ashamed of myself. How do you manage to do it? Then she tells me what? You know what? I don't know what transpired between for her, those are grandparents, but for me, they're my parents. I don't know what happened between my grandparents, and I don't even want to know, because it's none of my business.
Yes.
Me, I'll just come to your house. If you had issues with my mom, that is your business. Me, I'll come in your house, I'll eat, I'll ask for what, because I wasn't there when you guys were having arguments, and I'm not going to involve myself. If you people want to fight, well, the field, feel free, do whatever you want, but for me, it's none of my business. I'll come, I'll do whatever it is that I want to do. And it just, put me in that moment of saying, I think if all of us can have that mentality of saying, my mom, she has issues with her sister or her brother, it shouldn't be my business. I shouldn't involve myself. If they don't want to table it out, if they don't want to talk about it or address it, that's their business. Me, I'll still talk to my cousins. I'll still go to that uncle. I'll still go to that auntie, because they are my aunties. Whatever issues they have, it's like, I wasn't there, guys. I don't even want to know. Me, I'll come to your house. I'll greet you. You're my uncle at the end of the day. I didn't ask for you to be my uncle. You are in my life, and I'll respect you as that, and I'll treat you as such. So if all of us can have or adopt that kind of mentality to say, whatever transpired, hey,
None of our
I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
That's true.
But the sad part is that we, as children, cousins, sisters, we want to treat each other the way our parents had treat each other, because of whatever happened when they were young or what. Because if you even sit down to listen to some of the issues, you'd even be surprised, over something like this. But the thing is that, like you said, Wanji, I agree with you. We don't have to, invalidate people's feelings or emotions, because what might hate you might not hate me, might mean nothing to me. Something that might be important to me, to you might be nothing. So, moving forward, family. So those viewers who are watching, please do come through with your comments or contributions. We are live on our Facebook page. Leave your comments there. Let us hear from you. We are talking about reconciliation. So, Wanji, are you going to bring anyone together? Are you going to reconcile anyone this festive season? Because it starts with us. We need to take responsibility. So, are you going to do the needful? I'm going to do the needful.
I'll do it. Because they're just minor issues. Man, thinking I'm committee. I'm like, guys, come here.
Yeah, I know.
So
right?
I pledge to be a peacemaker. Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Adrian?
I'm just thinking of it's not easy, but we still have some days to go, and I'm thinking of reaching out to those family members.
Is it that hard?
It's hard because when you look at the things, then you're reminded of them. You'll be like, oh wow.
Yeah.
But we're getting there. We're getting there. It's important to also pray about certain issues. Some things, they may seem as if they are normal, but they are not normal. So I'm going to be a peacemaker, just like one.
But you said your cousin inspired you. Are you going to visit people?
Of course. I've just made it like, a priority to not like involve myself with whatever transpired between my parents and their siblings. Me, I just want to be me. I just want to relate with my auntie. I want to relate with my uncle, because these are people that I will need in any serious event or any important event that happens in my life. I need those people, I need those people. Without them, in as much as we like acting to say, what, I'm okay on my own.
Yeah, we need them.
We still
need them. We still need them. We, not that we can't do without them, but we need them.
We need people, actually.
Yeah.
But can we get into a little more realistic part of the issue?
Yes.
So I was cogitating just now, and I'm like, I see a lot of Facebook posts, and people are like, if you're going to disrespect my mom, I'm not going to stand it. Let's be real. Like your mom's sister.
But you know what?
Disrespect your mother to some length. Or your cousin. Or your cousin disrespects your mother to some length. Do you think you can forgive that person? And just want to talk about, let's table it out. They disrespect them in the public eye.
One time I was having a conversation with my boss. He told me something to say, don't get involved with your mom's family of brothers and sisters, because they are sisters. If they argue, they are going to reconcile at there. But if you get involved, it's difficult, because them, even if no matter how much they argue, they are sisters, they will still come back. But if my cousin disrespects my mother, let's deal with each other. Cousin, we're going to reconcile. But I think what's important is that we shouldn't get involved in these dramas. I've seen families, sisters, brothers, sister, they argue. Tomorrow they're talking to each other, because it's their level. So sometimes they come and Matilda to say, that's Satani. But again, you just have to, it's also maturity. Because if you get involved, imagine you start shouting your mom's sister, your aunt. You're disrespecting her as well. Because imagine now, if you shout at her, you disrespect her, tomorrow you find your mom and your aunt, they're together, they're even having drinks together, they're talking, laughing, but when sleep over until then unawashta insult. That's where the problem comes in. So if you're better off not getting involved. That's my advice. You're better off not getting involved.
Inas, I agree with you. But I don't know. There's just something that comes with, I don't know, so much emotions are raised when something is done to your parents or your mom or your dad. There are times when you're just seated, you're quiet, then someone just says something. You don't know, you just react, and then you realize later, like, oh, you know what, I wasn't supposed to take it this far. It's not easy. It's really not easy, but I agree with you. And there's a point that there are just certain people who just like never change. They will just never change.
Get on your nerves.
Someone said, when the devil was trying to take over the kingdom of heaven, when he wanted to be God or wanted to be worshipped like God, God just brought him down to earth. He didn't keep him in heaven with him. He brought him on earth. And the earth where he brought him, it still belongs to God, like it's his earth, He would have thrown him elsewhere, but he just decided to say, you can be far, but still my kingdom, still my place. I think there are certain people who, in as much as they are relatives, in as much as they are family, if they have shown that they cannot change, like this, that's just who they are. it's best to love them from afar.
Yeah.
You just keep them from afar. Don't keep them in your heaven. Take them to air.
Yeah.
They can be there as well, but don't just
No, it's true.
like keep them in your heaven.
that boundary.
So I totally agree with you sometimes.
It's not easy.
Emotions are red. No. I'm not
You don't even know where the issue came from.
Yeah.
And that's the issue that we have. We don't know where the issue
Yeah.
came from. The most important thing is for us to find out, first of all, what happened? How did it reach? It was happens that maybe your mom was wrong, and then you end up disrespecting your aunt. So we need to find out the root cause of that problem. Where did it start before you react? I know emotions. We've got emotions.
Yeah.
When emotions are raised, so
And I think the other thing, Wanji mentioned something about, therapy, counseling, and the likes. Sometimes, when we talk about therapy, when we talk about counseling, we so much associate it with mental disorders, and we don't want to get counseling or help. But I thank God for this generation that we're in. We know how important it is to just, pour out your feelings, no matter how small it may seem. But you just need to talk about it in order for you to feel safe and free. So, how do we bring in the issue of, encouraging people to go for counseling, to go for therapy when they're experiencing things from their families?
I think it's like a cardinal conversation we need to have. It takes both us, but there are a lot of counseling services, which I cannot mention.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of companies, a lot of counseling services that we can recommend. We start by getting a flyer. And then I think a lot of education needs to be done, because like you said, people think it's about just something off and
You see?
Yeah.
That's how they react.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of sensitization, I think even from companies, a lot of sensitization. There's another company that also offers like family counseling sessions, like a package, which is like less than 500 kwacha.
Oh.
Yeah, it's more like a monthly. They counsel families physically, they visit your house and everything. So it starts by just sensitizing them. Having an open conversation. Counseling, just to get a view, and then also bringing in what you know is best. I think it's one of the ways we can do it.
Nice.
And I also think churches need to emphasize on that.
Yes.
I think churches,
especially.
the more we talk about sowing a seed, the more I think it also needs to be preached enough. I think counseling
It also
needs
has to be talked
yes.
about.
I think also a lot of people are studying this psychosocial counseling thing. A lot of people are enrolling, which is a good thing, and I think churches can also implement just getting a professional counselor just for the church to help families, because you can only know so much.
I tell you, you're very right. And talking about that, there's something that we do in our house. My young sister is the one that brought it about, because she's doing psychiatric nursing and the like. So she just came one day and she's like, she brings a cooking stick. All of us were seated in the sitting room. I think I like being in the bedroom a lot. I like spending time in my room. She comes, she calls me, "Hey, young lady, I'm like, okay, what is it?" She's like, "Let's go, we just need to sit as a family and talk." And then she calls everybody, we sit down. Then she comes with a cooking stick. She's like, "I want us to be very honest today. I want us to talk about things that are uncomfortable and not getting defensive. You get this cooking stick, you say something about mom that you seem that she's not doing right, and things that she's doing right, you appreciate her. Start with appreciating, then you can now talk about the negatives. The same thing." So now we look at her like, "Are you?" But then it turned out to be like a good real thing, because I was thinking, me being in the room, spending time in the room most of the times, I didn't know that my siblings or my parents wanted to spend more time with me. It's not enough for them to just know, okay, Amazing is around. They want to have that time where we can gist, we can talk, we can laugh. So it wasn't really, but it turned out good, because sometimes it's not easy to hear the truth, especially from someone when they're telling you, okay, amazing, one thing I've noticed about you is that you're this, you're that, and then you're back in your heart, you're like, I want to, but she said, you don't have a cooking stick, don't defend yourself. Whoever has a cooking stick, they'll say whatever they want to say until they finish. They pass it to the next person, they pass it to the next. We're not going to defend each other, say, no, I'm like this because of what. We are just going to have this conversation. You say things you're not comfortable with and things that you appreciate about the other person, so that it doesn't just come about where I've just said something negative. At least even if I've said something negative, you still focus on the other nice things that I said about you. So I think I'm encouraging this to other families. Try it out. And it's not only, family is not just the people that you live with, but also, you know, your family. Friends are families. There are friends who've just turned into family. I know, right? I know.
We're family.
They are family.
We're family.
It's very necessary. We're family. So it's important for us to have all these uncomfortable conversations and just finding a way on how we can all navigate without offending each other and without looking down on someone's emotions. Because sometimes maybe one day you try and express yourself, how you feel, and then because I just don't feel like this is a big issue, I shouldn't make you feel like it's a small issue. We should be able to value each other's emotions and the likes. Time is not really on our side, ladies. I don't know, let's just go on a short break. When we come back, we'll wind up. They'll just give us their social handles, and then of course for those of us who want to follow them, they'll give us all that. So for now, let's just take a short break. We'll be right back after this. Okay.
It's time! Camnet TV brings to you an exciting kids show called My Creation. Join me, Sarah Chandamanga, as I get to interact with kids with special skills and talents between the age range of 9 to 17. This show will come to you every Saturday at 13:30 on Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Akora kansheko alakula chancha mukero kula chekerera ucho mwana nani nanga nyaba butuka uwinge wo munanga tikasambe nani ingata wishibe peke ntwipushe bana fia sasa ushe umwana nani na ingana babutuka uwinge wo munanga tikasambe nani mwe ipisha ina ishenya bo mwikere nabo.
Are still watching it. It is the weekly gospel with me, host amazing Katabandari. Today I was with my beautiful ladies. I'm still with my beautiful ladies, Wanji and Astriana. Ladies, I appreciate you so much for coming. I don't want to say a whole lot because I might end up embarrassing you, and then I start asking for forgiveness. And then so I won't do that. I won't do that. So because time is not really on our side, we've got to wind up. Wanji, if we want to follow you, where can we do that from? And then of course you can just give us your closing remarks just in a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah, you need the pen and the paper to write back.
No, I'll give you a few seconds actually, no minutes.
Okay. So you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Wanji Matilda Wanji Mvaleza Mojivedo. That's my social media. Yeah, that's my Facebook handle, and I've got a page. It's just Matilda Mujivedo. Matilda Mujivedo. That's And for closing remarks, I just want everybody who is there to understand that at the end of the day, family is all we have, and there's a reason and a purpose why we are in that particular family. And it doesn't hurt to say sorry when it's needed, and it doesn't make you the weaker person. It's okay sometimes to put your pride aside and to just make things right, because that's why you attend peace. So I wish you a happy festive season. Reconcile with your friends, with your family, and everybody. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Astriana. just in a few, actually minutes. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amazing, for having us. So my name is Astriana M. Chipoe. That's on Facebook. My page is Astriana. So you can follow me if you want to follow me on Instagram. That is Astrida Chipoe. Twitter, Astriana. LinkedIn, Astrida Chipoe. So with that being said, we are in the festive season. This is a time where we need to come together as families, bond. Let's have those chicken T-bone.
Together as a family.
Together as a family, let's have those drinks and bond. It's very important for us to reconcile. And we are living in a time where social media is, it's becoming something that we spend too much time on. But don't neglect spending time with your family this festive season. And I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Okay. So thank you so very much, ladies, for coming through. And to the viewers, I just want to appreciate each one of you for your love and support. I'll be back next week, same time, same place. But before we go, I would just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas in advance and a prosperous New Year. Please bring family together and do a self-introspection, because you also do have some toxic traits that you have. So work on those things, and remember that Christ is the reason for the season. So let's preach forgiveness, let's preach love, and let's also live it. Right, so this has been amazing, Katamanda, and I'll always be the amazing Katamanda. For now, it's goodbye. Keep it locked to Camnet TV. It's not just another channel. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.